Welcome to day 204 of our DeSo journey, sponsored by CloutFeed. Brian, do you have any information about CloutFeed?
Another feature in CloutFeed where you don't get what you don't get on these other apps is that you can actually filter your notifications by whether it's diamonds or coin buys or likes or hearts. So check that out. It's really useful if you're trying to quickly view your notifications and you have a ton of them.
That's a really good feature. I agree. So we have a special guest with us today, Chase Steely. You probably remember him from the shenanigans he played when he came on the platform. uh, he actually promised to put $1,000 into DeSo for everybody who reposted one of his posts, and he followed through. How's it going, Chase?
Pretty good. How's it going with you all? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so tell us about that. Tell us about what like inspired you to do that and what was going through your head.
Okay, so it wasn't really a well thought out plan. I was just thinking, like anybody else, like what should I post? So I was like, kind of how can I engage people in the community? So I thought of the idea, like I'm gonna put some more money on because it had just dipped. It had just went from like 150 to 130, the DSO price. So I said, and I've been saying these posts before, like when it dips, let's buy in, let's show support. So I was like, well, I'll put a certain amount on and I'll kind of let the community decide. So I posted, I'd put 1,000 for every reclout that I received. And then I was about to hit send and I was like, well, I should put a cap just in case this blows up. So I put up to 250,000 and then I kind of hit send. And I fully expected to put it on, but I never expected that actually people would reclout it that much because nobody has really like there's only so many reclouts you see with the post. It usually doesn't get above like 100, hardly ever.
Yeah, you got a lot of action on that. I was surprised how well it did. But you
Yeah.
followed through and you ended up putting what, $250,000 onto the platform?
Yeah. So the next day, and I didn't know how it works. Like, would it move the price? Would somebody be looking? Is it a big enough number? I figured it wasn't because there's probably like 200 million money locked in DeSo. I'm not sure what the amount is. You all might know, but so less than 24 hours, I had 250 reclouts. So I just put it on, just put 250,000 on. But I've been on the site for a while, and I just like the community engagement. And I think I was talking to y'all earlier. You're talking about how people have their coin price, so they're incentivized to talk nice, and I just like the overall vibe of the community also. So that
So
interests
like
me.
tell us a little bit about your background and how you found DeSo and what you're planning to do.
Yeah, so I basically just have been intently studying blockchain for a while now. But leading up to that, just to give you a quick background, so I played basketball for a year in college. I didn't really have it was at Northern Kentucky University. And while I was playing there, I picked up poker, had a girlfriend that played poker at the time, actually. And then, so sort of transitioned, I got more interested in poker. So I transitioned out of basketball pretty quickly and started playing online professionally. And then that was probably about 2006. Fast forward to 2008, I was doing pretty well playing online. And then a couple of years later, they banned online poker. So I had really no options to make money because that was kind of my craft at the time. I'd worked so hard to be good and make money. So then I said, well, I'll move to South Florida. So that's where I'm at now, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and started just going to the casino playing. And there's a lot of amazing games down here, and there still is. At the time, Florida had just changed the laws where they took the cap off. So they raised the cap was you can only buy it for 100, and they made it where you can buy in for whatever you want. So the games were just amazing for quite a while. And then I started running a private game in a casino with a couple of really good friends that I'm still friends with now. A lot of them invest with me in early stage companies now, which is great. So I did that for a while. That turned out to be like one of the bigger games in South Florida. And then I met a really good friend of mine named Rudy, and we started kind of trading. I would teach him poker, and we would talk about like poker theory and all those things, and then he would teach me about early stage investing. And it was great because that was about 4 years ago. So I got to kind of follow along some of his deals and invest and learn a lot, talk to some of the CEOs, and just pick up a lot of great knowledge that you can't really get in a book, I guess, which was valuable. And just to fast forward, so where I'm at now is I'm looking at early stage companies built on blockchain. It's just, I think it's largely believed by everyone that all the big companies are going to be built on blockchain. So I'm trying to be kind of early to the party for that. So I'm very interested in NFT, Web3 companies, and definitely BitClout, and seeing how the layer one BitClout chain develops.
Yeah, so DeSo kind of fits right into that. So are you looking to invest in companies that are using the DeSo blockchain?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm interested in now. And I noticed there's a lot of people messaging that are starting companies, and you can learn a lot from hearing the pitches and talking to them. And it helps me understand what DeSo is doing. And I become more impressed with DeSo when I see these companies, because a lot of them are doing really great things. A lot of them probably won't work, which is fine, but a lot of other people will learn from what they're doing. It'll be competitive, and the best one will win. And then kind of the community gets to opt in and say, I'm going to use this, and enjoy the different options in the marketplaces for NFTs. Are particularly, they're really growing quickly.
So if somebody's interested in, presenting a project that they're building on top of DeSo, can they just contact you on Diamond app or BitClout?
Yeah, of course. And either one, I'm going to make a point to be on Diamond app and BitClout, but just a DM, ideally a pitch deck would be great, so I could just kind of see, and just I'm trying to grow my knowledge base so I can understand what people are doing, and so I'm progressively doing that as well.
I guess if there are companies and projects that are starting up on DeSo, like looking for capital, like what would you recommend? Like at what stage should they start looking for capital? And like as an investor, like what do you look for?
I would say start, like everybody's thinking, should they start investing round? Should they open up a seed stage round? I think they should probably go ahead and do it, because they want to pitch as much as possible. Because I think a lot of the things people miss is it takes a long time to get good at pitching your company, and you learn a lot from explaining it to other people. So the more you do it, the more you learn. Like your first pitch is going to be really bad, and you should expect that. And you can even take it a step further. Pitch to somebody that will critique you after the pitch, and ask for that. Even though it's embarrassing to hear all those things, it's important. And one thing is, it's better to just tell your weaknesses and your struggles than try to represent like you've got everything figured out. Like no one believes that. They have to see like some type of humility.
Yeah.
Things are hard to build. Like you can't represent that you've got it figured out.
Yeah, I think like an investor wants to hear the truth over like the embellishment of it all, and I
Yeah,
think that's important for sure.
definitely.
So you've actually been an NFT collector for some time, and I think you said you own some CryptoPunks and some Bored Apes.
Yeah, I own two punks and one ape, and some other just cool cats, penguins. Well, I try to, like anybody else, probably when you come into NFTs, you're like, well, it's kind of like the altcoins. You want to buy lots of things and hope they take off, but really, for me, I found you just want to look for those blue chip candidates. And penguins, I guess the mechaverse has been exploding. I haven't really bought in yet. I just feel like it's just so much hype. It's just hard to
Yeah.
really be that interested. But you can safely buy a CryptoPunk and know that it's in the blue chip category. And when money comes in the NFT space, some of it's always going to filter to them. I think Bored Apes, you can kind of start to think that way, but and I try to stick to those that I think long term will do well. And everybody says 99% of things will go to zero, and I think that's like pretty common knowledge at
Yeah.
this point. Maybe 98 or 97. I don't know.
Have you ventured into DeSo NFTs yet? Or have you kind of been sitting back waiting for something to pop up that really interests you?
Right. Well, to be honest, yesterday was kind of the first actually a couple days ago, I was looking at some of the layer twos that are being built out and how the market, I didn't expect them to be as evolved as they are. And I was looking through, I didn't really know, like, I don't know the marketplace very well, or the bidding process. I didn't get that far into it, but some of the art looked really great. And it's tough because you can't really say the art's really great, so I'm going to buy it. It's like you got to find out what the provenance of the project is, who's the artist, is he anonymous or is he a real person, has he been doing art for 10 years and has a huge following. So it's like I'm interested to dig more into that and figure all those things out.
Yeah, it really does take research, I think.
Yeah, and I like Ed and I, we started out like some of the first series. We figured if DeSo really takes off, then some of these first series like Clout Punk, like Clout Dogs, like Spookies. I know I'm missing a bunch, but there's a lot of like really early projects that I think that maybe if DeSo becomes huge and it becomes one of the top few NFT, I guess, blockchains, I think people are going to look back in the history and say, hey, this was one of the first series that came about, probably has some value to it. And I think that the prices are so low compared to these Ethereum ones. I mean, I think the highest price NFT on DeSo was like $50,000 or so. So there's so much room to move that it like you said, a lot of things are going to go to zero. But if you pick that one or two diamonds out of that rough, it could be 1,000x. It's just it's interesting.
Oh yeah, I like the way you all are going about it. Like
Chase, you're breaking up a little bit. You there? I think we lost Chase for a minute. When he comes back, we'll continue that conversation. So I guess we can cover some of the news. There wasn't really too much news yesterday. Diamond App's feed. We kind of have a few issues with the Diamond App feed. Brian, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think the fact that you don't have the following feed as a default like we did on BitClout, I think that is actually I think that's actually going to affect engagement. So like what people want to see is the people they're following. They don't really care so much about what's hot, I don't think. And when you're a new user and maybe you start getting some followers, that's how you get that initial engagement. And when people aren't even looking at their following feed, the engagement's drastically decreasing because you're more prone to interact with people and the people you respect and follow. So I think they should move the hot feed over and make their following feed the default. That's just, I think that's the right move. And I think engagement did decrease since the last 2 days when we saw that change.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Chase, sorry about it. I don't know what happened.
Hey, that's my fault.
My up for a little bit.
Yeah,
but we were just talking about the feeds. But let's get back to what you're saying. You're saying about NFTs on DeSo, like you're talking kind of about our strategy of what we've been doing.
Yeah, I like the strategy you all have going on, and also those are going to be the first ones that really take off. And like you say that to me, and then I know that that's valuable, so I would probably be a buyer in those projects from this point, because that storyline makes sense and it checks out on the Ethereum blockchain and probably the Binance blockchain. I haven't really spent much time on some of the other chains, but that's going to be where the value initially just like first comes in.
Yeah, and it's hard, like I think all it takes is like one huge collector, one huge whale to come in and really like a certain NFT series and buy a bunch of them to really make that one become popular. We've kind of seen that in the past with some of the whales on DeSo who really got interest in the Rowdy Reptilians and the Clout Punk when they all first released. So it's hard to really, make any accurate predictions. You can just kind of guess.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that one. I think the Rowdy Reptilian somewhere, and I'm not sure. Maybe you all know. Did some of these get posted on OpenSea also?
No,
I don't think so.
So I know like the artists try to stay away from that because they don't want to make people think, hey, I'm minting this in two different spots, two different blockchains. because it would take the value away, obviously. But yeah, Rowdy Reptilians, that's done by a username called Illuminati, like meme
Yeah, I saw that.
Illuminati, and he does a couple different series now. And I mean, he wasn't he wasn't an NFT artist before any of this, and he found DeSo and basically quit his job and started doing this. So it's like such a cool story, and we really should have him on here one morning.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, so when you cut out, we started talking a little bit about Diamond App and the feed, and Brian was saying how he's not really a big fan of having the hot feed in the very beginning. So right when you click home, that's the first thing you see. He believes that the first feed that you see should be the following feed, because the hot feed it's kind of like a loop, and something gets hot and it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter because everybody sees it. I personally think, I agree with Brian. I think the following feed should be the first feed on Diamond App. And I also think they need a recent feed that has advanced filtering options. So you can see a stream of the fire hose of all the latest posts, but have the ability to perhaps filter by coin price. Maybe you only want to see the latest post from people with a coin price over $50, or maybe you want to sort by the latest post, but only ones that have received at least 2 diamonds or 3 hearts, or I think you need those filtering options. And I think then that makes the hot feed more of a true hot feed, where everybody is seeing this new stuff and seeing stuff that from people they follow, and then diamonding it and engaging in those posts. And then the hot feed would pull from that, rather than just having the hot feed as a default feed. And if as soon as something gets in there, it's just going to get hotter and hotter because people are going to continue to engage with it. So I think that's one thing that needs to be fixed. But overall, I do really like Diamond App, and I think it's off to a good start. Have you used Diamond App much yet, or are you still stuck on BitClout?
I haven't. I looked at it for the first time when you all sent it to me yesterday, and I felt a little when I first logged in, and then it says, okay, I know it's a layer 2, so they're asking for you to log in again. I think I understand that that's part of the process, using the name to go over. But I also was a little bit like, okay, this is the first time I did it. I was kind of like, okay, this feels a little strange. But once you get used to it, you realize it's like the same interface. So you can it's like, would you compare it to a browser? Like it's like Chrome versus Mozilla, and then Internet
Yeah,
Explorer.
I would actually say it's like a Mac versus a PC.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think overall the feedback's been pretty good. One other thing I want to touch on is the referral. So some people have gotten their referral links, others have not. Natter has said that it's going to roll out over the course of days and weeks. And he's also said that those who have used up their referrals will be getting more referrals. So when it first rolled out, certain people, I don't know how they selected them, got a referral link and they could refer 3 people for $100 each. But many people have already used up those 3 referrals. Natter has said that you will be getting more. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that's pretty much wraps up the news. And I mean, thanks for the discussion, Chase. I think it went very well. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I enjoyed it. Yeah, and thanks for having me on. So yeah, I'm just excited to keep seeing how all these things play out. It's all new, so yeah, and I enjoy watching your all's videos. It's very informative every day. You're going to get like the latest news. It's actually hard to find. And one thing I've noticed, like when you're studying, say, NFTs or something like that, you've got some guys, and then it's hard to get like the alpha news from somebody. So it's good to have like a one-stop shop where you can know you're not going to miss anything. You know what's going on here. So so I've enjoyed that a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah,
We appreciate it.
and we're gonna tag you in the post that we make. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, if they have a good idea, they can contact you just through DMs. You said. A reminder that we're minting all of these videos as NFTs. You can bid on the video if you want. Don't have to bid on it if you don't want. They're the first bid of 0.25 ETH. And I think that kind of wraps it up, right?
Yeah, thanks again, Chase. Maybe we'll have you again on the show, maybe after you invest in some projects.
Yeah, awesome. Enjoyed it. We'll be happy to come back. Thank you all.